Hello, in this video I'm solving a problem from the book. It's from section 12.3 and it's problem number 25. And I let you time to read it. Okay, so let's see what is the situation over here. We need to pick 6 bottles of wine. Well, that's going to be done by Mara and that's going to be randomly because she knows nothing about wine. To pick from, there are 8 bottles of French wine, 10 bottles of Australian wine, and 12 bottles of Italian wine. So the first thing we would like to know, because we're going to use it, is in how many ways we can pick 6 bottles randomly. So in total, there are 30 bottles. So what we are asking is in how many ways can we pick 6 out of 30? So this is the combinatorial number combination of 6 pick out of 30 that we're gonna need to find. So this is number of possible selections. Okay, so now we can go to part A, where they ask us what is the probability that 2 of each type get selected. Well, 2 of each type, because of the information we have, I think we need to understand it as 2 French or 2 Australian or 12 Italian, even though we don't know anything about what type of wine those really are. But that's information we have, so that's what we have to play with, and not our knowledge about wine. So if we wish to select 2 bottles of French wine, let's call that an event. In how many ways can we do this? Well, there are 8 bottles of French wine in total, and we want to pick 2 of them. So it's combination of 2 selected out of 8. Similarly, if we want 2 bottles of Australian wine, we can do this by selecting 2 out of the 10 possible bottles of Australian wine. And for the Italian, we have 12 bottles in total and we need to select 2 of them. So each selection that Mara is going to do from the supply is going to have in total 6 bottles. We need to select 2 French, 2 Australian, and 2 Italian. And we know how to do each of those, but now we have to see how do we combine those probabilities. And we can write this as the probability of 2 each type is going to be given by, we select 2 of the French ones, we know how to do that. And now we need to multiply by selecting 2 of the Australian ones and selecting 2 of the Italian ones. So the big question here is, why are we multiplying? Why those products over there? Okay, and this comes back to when we were studying counting principles. Which 2 bottles of French wine we select, that doesn't affect which 2 bottles of Australian wine we select or the bottles of Italian wine that we're going to select. Those events are not affected one by the others. And they are, in some sense, what we call the same part of the same sandwich. So it is part of the same selection. That's why we are multiplying over here. We select 2, we can do it in this many ways. We'll find what that number is, 8, the combinatorial number 2 choices out of 8. And then for each one of those selections, we can imagine, well, there are going to be many, but we can imagine a tree diagram. There are going to be many of them. And for each of them, where we are selecting the French ones, we're going to have many options for the Australian ones, and for each of them, many options for the Italian ones. So we can imagine this would be a huge tree diagram, and we really don't wish to write it down. But in any case, each selection is going to be composed by picking one branch of one branch of the other, and a branch of the third one. And that's why intuitively we are multiplying as we go along the branches. So those are the cases that are good for us in the numerator. And now we need to divide by all the possible cases, and that's the number we found, 3060 over here. Okay, and yes, you can find that in your calculator. You don't need me for that. For part B, we want the probability that all the bottles are of the same type. So all the bottles are French, or all the bottles are Australian, or all the bottles are Italian. So for instance, if we focus on all of them being French, that means we have to see the event selecting 6 bottles of French wine. What is the cardinality? So how many ways can we do that? Well, there are in total 8 bottles of French wine, and we have to select 6 out of them. So that's a combinatorial number. Choose 6 out of 8. Similarly, we can find in how many ways we can choose 6 bottles of Australian wine, then choose 6, and in how many ways we can choose 6 bottles of Italian wine. 12 chooses 6. Now, each one of the options that we have in each of the cases is already a selection of 6 bottles of wine, and we are done. So when we look at the probability of same type, all bottles are of the same type, what we are saying is, well, this could be written as a union of sets. The set that has all the possibilities for picking 6 bottles of French wine, 6 bottles of Australian wine, union 6 bottles of Italian wine. So those are subsets of our sample space. Those are events. Now, those events are disjoint, because if I pick 6 bottles of French wine, well, I didn't pick 6 bottles of Australian or Italian wine. So they are mutually exclusive events. Exclusive events. Yeah, if we pick any 2 of those sets and we try to intersect them, the intersection is empty. I'm not going to write all the possibilities here. But what does it mean from the point of view of the probabilities? Well, it means that then the probability of the union is going to be the sum of the probabilities. So we need to find the probability of finding 6 bottles of French wine plus the probability of selecting 6 bottles of Australian wine plus the probability of selecting 6 bottles of Italian wine. And that's going to be given by, well, we know what are the good cases for us, 6, 8. And we need to divide that by all the possible cases that we have. We found it again before. There are 30 bottles of wine in total, and we need to select 6. Plus, we need to choose 6 out of 10, and then divide by choose 6 out of 30. Plus, we need to choose 6 out of 12, and divide by 30 out of 6. And that's not looking very pretty because I was running out of space, but that's what you need to solve with your calculator. My main reason to want to solve this problem for you was to show the contrast between a case where we need to multiply different cardinalities of events and a situation where we need to sum the probabilities. But once that's done, parts A and B, we can also do part C over here. Is we want to serve only Italian or French wine. What is the probability that will happen? Well, if we put together the bottles of Italian wine and the bottles of French wine, there are 20 in total, and we want to select 6 out of those 20, and those are my good cases. And all the cases, that's choosing 6 out of 30. So this is the probability of Italian and French only selected. And maybe for the next time that we have a question about different types of wine, we can include one provider from some South American country.